You meet the right person, and the whole world opens for you. And what feels like a prison now feels like home. You're with company. And it's just because life is crushing, you know? And it crushes those who are the most sensitive. And it teaches those who aren't to crush them even more, you know what I mean? And we need to value that. I value that. A small parable on being unique is that consider yourself like a highly sensitive instrument, right? And if you put that instrument like a thermal optic camera that can see someone's heat from miles away in the complete dark, so a very useful thing, throw that in with a bunch of other tools, spanners, hammers, and they're going to convince that sensitive device to be a brick, to be a lug, to be something that you clobber things with. And you can turn a thermal optical imaging camera into a hammer. It just won't be useful anymore as a camera, as an imaging device. Great. I think I'm going to lose the line. I still have this. Cool. So, let yourself off the hook, okay? Let yourself off the hook, alright? You're probably something of a perfectionist. You're probably hard on yourself. I'm sure everyone around you has been hard for you, and that's where you've got it from. Let yourself off the hook, okay? And while we're at it, because this is a place of peace and healing, I want you to let go of your adult armor, okay? Let go of everything that you defend with, okay? Because you don't need it here. There's no judgment, no matter where you've come from, or what you've done, or anything. There's no judgment. This is a place where we get better to be better people. And we let in that possibility right here, right now. You will save the world. You will save the world. But first you have to save yourself, alright? I believe that in saving myself, I have saved others. If I had gone extremely overboard, if I've taken my life, I could never help anyone, and I wouldn't have been able to help the person that I helped, the person that started this journey, to helping you right here, right now, for us to have this communication, this interaction. Wouldn't have happened if I had killed myself, if I was gone. Couldn't happen, could it? I couldn't help anyone. So what sense is it to descend into self-destructive notions? It makes no sense, okay? It's irrational. We have to recognise. A lot of this situation is irrational. Actually, a lot of it is rational, but it calls back to a time we might not even remember. That's what makes it so difficult, and that's what makes it seem irrational. Most trauma is from childhood, and everyone is kind of repairing their trauma, mostly from childhood, you know. Some childhood trauma dates so far back, like I say, people can't remember it, so they're just left with a feeling of, you know, whatever the feeling is, you know, frustration at the very least, you know, confusion, anger. You don't know where it's from or what it's for. You know, the world is a peculiar place. Depression will convince you not to eat. Okay, it will put you in a kind of self-destructive spiral. First thing I notice when I'm depressed is I don't want to eat. I don't want to nurture myself. I don't want to wash. And I won't care about anything. I'll stay up late. I'll stay into the next day. You know? And it creates conditions which are going to make it worse and worse. You know what's funny? Is that you knew that. You knew that because we're doing it to ourselves. We do these things to ourselves. We are trying to make things worse and worse and worse for ourselves. You know? In every second, in every action. all we're trying to do is make things worse because we're self-destructive. We need to recognize that there's a self-destructive part of us, a self-destructive voice inside of us that we feed negative emotion from the second that we wake up, okay? I always find, at the very least, you're very drained from all of these things, is the point I mean to make. And then when you're done that, you need to relax from that. Each escapism needs an escapism of its own, right? Everything that we do to relax from the last thing, we need to relax from in the next thing. And it goes like that and that and that. And we're knackered. We don't realise. And then we go to bed, go to sleep, next day, oh, I'm so knackered. How can I feel better? Oh, I'll flick on the news just for something to think, just for something to get in the way of my thoughts, more to the point. And we're absolutely exhausted, and that's why one of the many reasons why we find ourselves in depressed states is because we're tired. One of my top tips is, recognise that tiredness, you're not going to think too clever when you're tired, and it's going to be a kind of motivator for a lot of the things that follow, tiredness. We're just not ourselves when we're tired, and any thoughts, feelings or emotions that we get around bedtime or around past the point where we recognise that we're tired or getting tired or, you have to nullify and just not even count that, because it doesn't matter. You're not even thinking right. The mind, when you're tired, is just focusing on let's get to bed, and anything that gets in the way can get screwed. And it's not brilliant. And we're always kind of repairing ourselves from the last thing. We need to cut ourselves a break, but we don't ever get one. Each thing is it's never ending. It is never ending. So you have to force yourself to eat, to wash, before you become too weak to do so. And as I've kind of established, that's exactly what you're trying to do. You're subconsciously putting everything into a suicidal situation. It's pushing towards a kind of end game, make everything as worse as humanly possible. The person that I talked from suicide, they really, even when they were about to leave, get in a taxi and go, they had a bottle of hard alcohol on them, and I was trying to buy it from them because I knew that they'll go home, they'll drink it, because they're utterly in a self-destructive mode, and that's going to give them. It's going to take away the only thing that's stopping them, which is their voice in their head saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And so they're trying to take away the one thing that's keeping them alive, the voice, and witness in that the nature of self-destructive behaviours, which are utterly irrational, just so irrational. What if your teachers and guardians were not encouraging? What if they were not present? We must learn to find our own refuge. The Buddha said, do not find refuge in others. Do not find refuge in any person but yourself. Because everyone's going to let you down. And everyone's got their own emotional problems which take precedent over yours. Even if someone is your saviour, your guardian, the light, the most welcoming and helpful thing that you've ever known, and you assume that they're always going to help you out and they always promise to help you out, well, when the time comes, they might have their own thing on the go, We can't rely on external things for our happiness. Happiness comes from inside us. So the change needs to happen, right? And you have to change, but you don't want to hear that. You're going to want to keep it where it is because it's comfy, even if you know it's a bit hellish. It's kind of like better the devil that I know rather than the devil that I don't, And ultimately, you're unhappy with the present and you're grieving losing the self that you are ahead of time, But it's only because You don't know the person that you're about to be, right? The person that's liberated from that person. The person that's liberated from all the people that's around you, right? The person that walks alone and others walk in their footsteps. Okay? That's you. You're the leader. You're the leader of the resistance. You know? You're going to be the one that saves us all. Or if not, you're going to be the one that teaches the one or saves the one when they're in a terrible position in their life. That's why it's so important to shake yourself out of this situation, soldier. Okay? Because it's going to get better. It's just a temporary thing. You just need encouragement that you perhaps haven't got. Maybe you've never had it. You can do it. Not just you can do it, you're going to smash it and make a new world, and you're going to be so comfortable when you're there. You're going to be warm, you're going to be comfy, you're going to have a roof over your head, you're going to have all the money you want, and you're going to have the adoration that you want. People ain't going to fear you. It's not going to be fear from respect from fear. No, people are going to just adore you because you're just magic, amazing. Just what everybody needs, okay? And I need to make sure that you know that. I need to make sure that you start to consider your role in life, okay? We are depressed, I think, in our society rather than tribal societies, because in tribal societies, they recognise that the people, the person, needs to find their way. It's the first thing that they do as an adult. They can't be an adult until they have found their way, until they have cried for a vision from the universe, such that the universe will tell them what their calling is and what their name is, okay? Are you your name? Your name was given to you. Are you your name? Are you your job? Are you your culture? Are you your people? Are you your skin colour? You are more than all of that, because all of these things are forced on us. They are layers of identity which we are forced into believing. But your identity is infinite. Your identity is pure light. It's cosmic. Your identity will become more understood when you shift from this mortal form. You see, you are infinite. But consider, you're here on earth for a reason. Don't go thinking that you need to be a spirit just yet. No. You're here, and you incarnated here for a reason, even though you knew it would be tough. Even though you put all of those obstacles in your own path. Oh yeah? You put it in your own path. Why did you want to do that to yourself? Well, you knew that was the only way that you would find yourself. If you tripped over them flipping obstacles and you got stuck in the mud there and everyone was laughing at you, but then you picked yourself, you dusted yourself off, you walked 20 miles, people went, holy moly, he walked 20 miles, she walked 20 miles, wow. And then people respect you. Or something. I walked to Cornwall from north of London for a laugh. It was the most amazing thing I ever did. I was dreadfully depressed. I went with a good friend. It was the most amazing time. It was like the Hobbit journey, or like something out of the ancient world. So we've got to parent ourselves and nurture ourselves and encourage ourselves. Maybe you've got a lot of discouragement. Maybe you didn't get enough encouragement. You can do it. You can be anything. I want you to imagine. Use your vision, your mind's vision, and don't hold back when you create a dream for yourself. Don't hold back. Make it as specific as you can. But make a dream for yourself. Nurture yourself. Say you can do it. We can do it. We can get there. Bit by bit, piece by piece. Speaking of which, save £50 a month. Save £50 a month. In a year you can afford a car. A cheap car. Not a brilliant car. Probably a car that needs some repairs. But a car. Or in a couple of months, You got 100 quid. You go and you take yourself shopping. Okay, this is a brilliant one. This is something so special to me. Okay, I started to do it in my early 20s. All right, taking myself out, man, because I couldn't get a girlfriend, and my buddies, they were doing their own thing, and I would like to take out a chick, a lovely lady, but couldn't find one. Are you going to wait? If you're alone, don't wait. Even if you got someone, don't have to be with them all the time. This is important, to find your own thing, find your own day, your own experience, connection with the universe of the day, the spirit of the day. Go out to town, go to a nice town, a different town if you like. Go shopping, go to a shop. This is important, right? Go something to an identity that you want to be, right, in the future. If you wear a lot of like sports stuff or, whatever. Maybe you wear all black tracksuit, maybe you wear jeans and a t-shirt, and you're just gonna want to break out a little bit more. You see people who are rocking it, you know what I mean? Rockers, hippies, indies, whatever, I'm getting older now, so there's probably a whole bunch of new things, man. Hipsters was the last thing, right? Whatever you want to be, right? It takes a bit of a jump, and just take the jump, right? Anyone who takes the mick out of that, okay, in 6 months they'll be like, I thought you looked silly with this, but actually I think it's on. I never thought that I'd be able to pull off this, right? But I did it. No one's ever even blinked, like it's always been, and that's the way it's got to be, right? When you do what you need to do for you, people are gonna react like that's the way you've always been, because perhaps it is the way you've always been. Counter culture, counter everything. I'm gonna walk my own way, and people are gonna be funny about that. Someone said to me, man, you always did look good, man. I never felt like I looked good. You always did look after yourself. I never look after myself. You always, Some people can have weird perspectives on you, The sun's out. It's quite nice. Find meditation. Find new ways of being. Try yoga. Try all forms of alternative expression of life. If it's silly, even better, because you get a laugh out of it. Learn to laugh. Learn to laugh at yourself. When others laugh with them. Don't spend your time around people that are going to laugh at you all the time, obviously, but if I walk out of the house looking great, looking good, I am going to think to myself, if someone laughs, I'm not going to be crushed by it. I'm not going to wither away, melt into a puddle. It's not going to strike me to my core, because they don't know me. They don't really care. It's only ever their own self that they kind of... It's like a cry, really. You know what I mean? When people are on your case, they're rather embarrassing. If you know the language of life, the non-verbal language that people use, really it's quite sad, honestly, when people laugh or do anything to you. It's sad because they are crying, they are hurt people that can't express it in any way. They can't find their own healing and their own healer inside them because they're too busy attacking others, because they can't accept, excuse me for the spit, they can't accept their situation, because you can't admit it without sounding weak. You can't admit the situation without sounding weak. So, unwind. Unwind, man. Take it easy. Don't take it so seriously. It's just a ride. Don't take it seriously. Learn to laugh at yourself. Learn to find everything a bit funny. Learn to find the humour in all things. Take yourself out. Buy a shirt. Have a meal. Have a succulent Chinese meal. Enjoy it. Buy a book, buy a shirt, go out for a meal. With that book, I would have something that either broadens my mind or helps me to escape the nitty-gritty with something fun. Accept and value your isolation. Isolation until recently I couldn't cope with. I hated. I thought it was a punishment. I thought I was in prison. But isolation is, if we are the ones who create our conditions in our life, we have the divine power to create all of the conditions in our life to make them how they are, then isolation is probably the key mechanism. If you were a spirit and you wanted to make some mortal into a powerful person, a powerful leader, what you would do is you would isolate them so that they found their own power. Okay? I was isolated a lot of my life. All my life I've been isolated. Heck, this is probably the thing that makes me feel not isolated, right? I cursed the universe for it, and curse I did, but I've come to understand that isolation, if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be the person who I am today. I wouldn't have found the tools that I need to be me right here, right now, telling you that you are a soldier of the future of humanity. Okay? You are like a general to me, alright? You're gonna go and you're gonna flipping well kick some butt, some negative, emotional, negative vibrational butt. We're gonna make a new world. You think that all the negative things in the world want that? No, there's going to be a lot of resistance, a whole ton of resistance, okay? This is what we experience, what you're experiencing, okay? Yourself right now is going to be crushed into oblivion, into dust, and from that dust, the phoenix will arise, and you will be something that you've never ever dreamt of, okay? And people are going to value you. If you're an addict or if you're struggling, whatever, okay? People are going to want to hear your story. Find your tactics that get you through and teach others those tactics. Put it into words. Write. Read and write. It's so important. Get your feelings out. Get your feelings out. My man, you know? My girl. Look. Boom. I got tons. This is just days, you know, on my way here. Did you see that? Anyway. I'm always writing. I'm always thinking, I'm always processing, you know. My parents taught me to get to the end of the problem. Sit with it. Sit with the problem. If it feels bad, it's just a feeling, okay? Sit through the feeling, withstand it. It's not going to kill you, it's just a feeling. Breathe. When we breathe, we take in the creative essence of the universe. The Indians call it prana, and it's special. You see, with this fantastical belief, that's a fantasy if you want. That's a fantasy. But you can breathe, you can believe that you are breathing in a golden essence, a pure life force essence of the universe, which helps you to be, helps you to relax and to be creative and to find yourself. You don't have to believe that, but what good does that do you? Consider fantasy. Consider if it's all just ridiculous fantasy to you, just play along. See if it's a bit of fun, because what you're doing right now isn't very fun. The way you're being with yourself isn't very funny or fun. And tell me how it feels, man. Tell me how it feels. Because I know how it feels. And it's hard. But we're not going to fight our feelings, okay? We're going to embrace our feelings and accommodate them. We'll sit through them and get to the other side. You know? Cultivate intuition. The universe is speaking to us constantly. Certain things we resist, okay, grief, hard feelings. When we get a pang of emotion, we go, oh no, oh no. I want to teach you to say, oh yes. You might not believe it. It's going to be an affirmation at first. It's going to be something that you say and you don't believe. Every time you feel like saying, oh no, oh sugar, oh flip. I'm trying to keep it clean with the swearing. Every time you say that, change the word to yes. Change it to a positive, okay? Because a lot of outcome relies upon the energy that we react with, okay? So when that emotion, that powerful emotion that we can't stand, of grief, of whatever, okay, and we go, oh no, and we feel crushed and we feel dizzy and we feel lightheaded, and we say no, say yes. Say yes, learn to say yes, because inside that package of feeling that comes to you from nowhere, oh, I was having a good day, and then, oh, or something, the universe reminded you of that person. Oh, it hurts, it's like a dagger. And we get used to reacting to emotion like it's hurting and killing us, but we just don't know how the universe operates. And the universe, it packages raw information and raw communication with hard emotion. And when we get the emotion, we're like, no, stop, I can't. But we're actually stopping the communication of the loved one. If we're grieving, a loved one communicates with us through the universe, and we say, ow, ow, stop it, doctor, give me pills, preacher, make it go away, God, make it go away. We need to embrace it and accommodate it, okay? Embrace it, embrace the feeling. Emotions, they're just traps and barriers. They don't exist, they're just hindrances. If you want to believe in a devil, the devil made them, if anything, because they stop us from realising our divinity. All the answers lie the other side of an emotional wall, you know? And you go, oh, it hurts too much. It's like fire, invisible fire. Oh, it hurts too much. It's hurting me. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. It can't do anything. If anything, it's going to make you better. When you go through that fire and you feel it and you're burning up in it, and you realise, like, well, I'm still here, I'm still breathing, I'm still active. The feeling is subsiding, and now I'm accommodating it. And now I feel something else. Now I feel a grace. Now I feel the grace of the universe. Now I feel a oneness with that loved one. I feel a oneness with my ancestors. I feel a oneness with myself. I feel a oneness with my future. I feel a oneness with all things. Do not run from your feelings. Embrace them. Run into them. Run into your feelings. Run into them. Run into them. Run into your feelings, man. Embrace them. Dive in. Dip your toe in if you want, but dive in, man. Dive in. Your feelings, your emotions are the barriers that you put ahead of yourself before you were born. The clever, divine thing that you are. Because you know that when you go through those barriers, that's when you learn this rule about yourself, that rule about yourself, that rule about the universe. Everything is love. Everything is connected. I am powerful. The universe is connected to me. Those moments of high emotional grief, what have you, high emotionality, that's the communication of the universe, the non-verbal communication which you and the universe has together. Don't fight it, because that's where every human goes wrong. That's where we all go wrong. Find your divinity through the emotion. Find it, because it's there, and it's what connects you to all things. And the main thing about all that is a mission. All right, you're going to feel really good when you have a purpose, a mission. You know, positive, a positive purpose. It's going to help the people, right? A positive person-centric purpose, right? When I saved the person from suicide, I had just gone outside to help, but feed a few crows. And if anyone wanted to chat, I was going to chat. And lo and behold, I was out there with a mission to help. Just go outside with a mission to help and a couple of loaves, a couple of pieces of bread to feed the ducks, honestly. And with the intention to give somebody the time of day, you know, give somebody a little bit of human recognition and conversation. Also for your own benefit, you know, and everything is for your benefit. It's funny how we get about selfishness, you know. I think we get it all the wrong way around, but it's okay to take a selfish benefit from good deeds, you know. The key is to not have the good deed as the kind of aim of the game. The aim of the game is the good deed, not the feeling that we get. Kind of. It's kind of funny actually, because I do go out with the express purpose of making myself feel better, because that's what I need. I just don't think we should worry too much about hypocrisy, you know, and selfishness. If we're going to be giving, just ensure that yourself isn't the main thing that you're trying to do. Make sure that the weight of helping others, helping the self, is always weighted higher in helping others. Ultimately, we're working on our karma, and we're working on the situation where random occurrences happen to us that aren't too pleasant. We're giving positivity into the universe as much as possible, you know. Anything bad that we've done in the past, we're kind of making amends for that, piece by piece, you know. Nature. Be out in the nature. Be out in the nature. It's our connection to the past and to who we are and should be and always were. Because that's missing, that's why we feel so depressed and disconnected from all things, you know. I always consider everything back to the Neolithic era, to the Stone Age era, you know, or hunter-gatherer era. I'm not sure how long we were hunting and gathering for. 10,000 years, 20,000 years, 50,000 years. But it was a long time. It was a really long time. And the reason why the foods we don't get on with these days is because we need to look towards a more hunting, gathering food style, you know. We eat too much carbs. They never had any carbs. They had basically meat. They had grains. And they had veggies and they had berries, and they kept it varied, essentially. We have to live in accordance with how we once lived, because that is a sort of template of modern humanity. The experience of what the body and mind knows as what's normal and real. Holiday in the nature, go camping, spend time in the woods, spend night in the woods, you know, and experience the visceral fear of being in the nature. Experience the power that you get from yourself when you have survived and you've accommodated everything that you've been through, and you're just like all the animals that you see every day. You're like the deer. You both went to sleep in the nature. You woke up in the nature. You didn't get attacked in the night. You know, but it could have happened. Anything could happen. You know, but you didn't. You were in it. And there's something about that, something about the natural experience that we so lack, you know. Doug Stanhope, classic comedian who I love. Don't agree with everything he says, but hey. But he said, you know, he did a funny bit about we feel like depressed, right? And so we go to a doctor. The doctor says, yeah, here's have some pills to make you feel better. But you're spending like, you know, your entire life under a fluorescent light, you know, in a box cubicle, you know, doing administration, doing filing. Oh, doctor, I feel depressed about my situation. Well, okay, brilliant. Have some pills, and that will make you better at doing your situation. Okay. We have doctors that make us better suited to work, rather than doctors that are saying your work's killing you, your work's making you insane, because work is insane in this current climate of reality, office work and stuff, you know. Not made for it. We're not made for it. We're made to run around the hills, chasing deer, looking around the blimmin' rock pools by the seaside for limpets and sphagnum moths and fennel, you know. Doing fishing, all this. That's what you're meant to be doing now. You know, we do that kind of stuff for a week in the summer. We should be doing it all year round, but we don't. And so, you know, that is something that would help us. Understanding that on our current mode of being is unnatural to us. You know, so we're trying to say, oh, why can't I be normal in this situation when it's not normal? And it shouldn't be gotten used to. It should be actively run away from. That's why people do run away. You know, not everyone is as sensitive to this as you. And they just go, oh, well, all my life everyone has told me to put up with it and do what everyone else is doing, and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing what everyone else is doing, and I'm going to do it until I'm dead. Okay, great. You know, I'm going to go and not do that. I'm going to go and live in the flipping woods, you know, if I have to. Because, heck, I don't really want to live in the woods, man. That'd be cold. It's fun in the summer, though. But anyway, you get the point. You get the point. It's a funny world. And I'm sorry that it's been rude to you. You deserve better. Good humour. Bit of comedy at night, that always helps me. Bit of comedy at night. Nurture yourself, let yourself off the hook. Accept the emotion. Accommodate it. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. The children of earth. They're just a traumatised people themselves, you know, and not everyone's going to figure it out. Not everyone's going to have the capacity that you have to recognise it like you will. You just haven't got to the bit that you're really kind of penning it down and getting to the nitty gritty, you know. But join me, it's a fun process. There's loads of people like us. We're all cool. Alright? We can do so much. We've got so much to give. Yeah? And people don't have nothing to give. They're going to convince you that you ain't anything. Why? Because they're damn jealous. Always have been, always will be. But sooner or later they'll just accommodate you when they recognise that you ain't going nowhere. You've made it. You've founded something. You've forged something in your life, in your experience, that others want a piece of. And so they go, wow, actually, if everyone wants what you've got, maybe you were right all along. Hey, respect, man. Yeah, you were right all along. Yeah. How many times have people said that in my life? Too many to count. All right? Be your own person. Be your own healer. Be your own leader. Okay? You are the saviour of mankind. You are the leader of the resistance. We're going to make a better world at any cost. You're going to get better. I know I'm fiery on this, and I'm firing on a lot of topics, and I wish I could be a little bit more passive, but I think this is my role. I have to say it in a particular way to ruffle the feathers, okay? To get motivated, get motivation key in the hearts and minds of people. You know, the weak will overcome the strong because we have a value that they do not. We are yielding, whereas strength is rigid, unbending, brittle. We can move in the face of force. We can accommodate force. We can learn from force. We can use force when we wish and not when we do not wish. We can have control. Have control. Have a new you. Have a new people. Have a new reality. You are capable of making all of those things. You alone in your life knows how to do that. No one has the blueprint for that but you. And you gave yourself that blueprint from before you were born. Such is your power. So, a message of peace, a message of love, positivity. We're going to spread positivity, peace and love, one people, one mind, one heart, one spirit, one love. You and me, baby, we're going to make it. We're going to make a difference.